Hey you guys, what's up? I'm Morgan. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in and for joining me in today's video, because obviously you want to know what a SWOT analysis is and what it means to use this strategy when you are developing your business plan. So what is SWOT? It's SWOT, and that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, some of you are going to get through this process fairly quicker than a lot of other people, and that's because you are someone who wholeheartedly understands what it is that your brand brings to the table, what it is that your brand represents, how you stand out, how you wiggle in, you understand your competitors, you understand the market, so you probably get through this process a lot quicker. If you find yourself getting stuck on some of these questions, it's probably just because you haven't actually sat with yourself and heard yourself out and actually visually seen yourself writing it down on what it is your brand is. What is your brand? Who is your brand? Who does it represent? You probably haven't answered these questions in full to understand how to even market it or create a social media strategy around it. So let's break this down. All right, let's start with S. The letter S stands for strength, you guys. Now, in your strengths category, you want to ask yourself a couple of quick key questions to better understand who you are as a brand owner and how your brand ownerships translates into how well you push out your brand to the public. So one question is, what makes your brand unique? Okay. When you answer this question, really think about it. Think about what it is that you're offering as a brand, and then understand what it is that makes it unique. How do you stand out from the rest of the people in the category or niche that you are trying to get into? What makes your brand stand out? And then the second question that goes along with that unique type question is, why are you even starting a brand? What does your brand have to offer? If you can answer those three questions in details, then you're already above a lot of people, because you already understand what it is to be a brand. You understand why you started your brand. You understand the effectiveness of your brand. You understand how you want to push out your brand. So ask yourself those key questions. All right, so we're going to jump into the next letter, which is a W, and it stands for weakness. And don't sell yourself short, guys. Every single brand has a weakness. Every brand can be exploited in some way or another when it comes to their weakness. All right, so when you're answering certain questions under this category, I want you to understand that no one is perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect brand. There's no such thing as perfect marketing. It's just going to be a hit or a miss, and you're going to take that, you're going to run with it, and you're going to figure out what makes your brand stand out. So when it comes to weaknesses, pretty sure that you need to answer these questions the same way that you answered your strength questions, because in the strength category, you basically answered what it is that you have to offer, what makes your brand unique, what are you most successful in when it comes to your brand style, what are those things that make you a strong brand. So in your weakness, you want to ask yourself on the opposite end of that is, what can I do better for my brand? Where and what areas of my branding or in my business plan can I pull from? Where am I falling short? If I'm on social media, what can I do to make my brand stronger? Your weakness parts are the parts that you need help in. You also need to think about the weakness standpoints when it comes from your customer's perspective. So you can ask yourself certain things like, well, if my brand is already online, why don't my customers convert into sales? Why am I not getting certain sales when they are clicking off of certain pages or things like that? When it comes to social media, you can say, why am I promoting and I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to be doing, but it's not translating to my audience? I'm not getting followers. I'm not getting traction. I'm not getting DMs. Ask yourself all these questions, because when you answer those questions and when you really look at those questions, it's going to pull you back to your analytics. And in your analytics, you're going to have to really dissect those things and figure out what it is that you can improve on. And those are your weaknesses. Your weaknesses are things that you definitely can improve on. See why things aren't converting. See why you're not getting the traction. See why you're not getting the hype. See why people aren't looking at your stories. It could literally be the simplest thing to figure out, and it starts with your analytics. Now, on the opposite end of analytics, it's just key things that you need to step up in when it comes to you being a business owner. What can you do better as a business owner? How can you represent your brand better? What have you not been doing to promote your brand so that people can really leave the personal space of who you are, like your friends and family and things like that? They can leave those personal feelings, and they can really convert into really buying into your brand. Because once people separate you from your brand and they start going into your brand more, you're doing something right, because then it takes away a lot of feelings and emotions of them knowing you personally, right? So make sure you answer the weaknesses in full detail. Make sure you're looking at it. You might even cry a little bit because you've been putting in so much work and you just don't understand why people aren't converting. Don't take it harshly. Do better. Let's get into one of my favorite parts of the SWOT analysis, and that is opportunities. Yes, you guys, opportunities are crucial, okay? I think a lot of new brands don't understand that they do have an advantage when it comes to opportunities, because you have more room for error. New brands have a lot more wiggle room when it comes to really trying to find your target audience. But even if you have your target audience, you have a lot more room to make certain decisions to see what's going to work best for your brand. Established brands, well-established brands, they don't have that same wiggle room because people already know them for something. So as a new brand, you have the opportunity to really figure out what it is that's going to work for you. So you can try tons of different things. So under the opportunities category, I want you to ask yourself, what can you do as a brand to make sure that your marketing is better? What marketing opportunities do you have? What spaces have you not touched yet? Meaning, what spaces have you not even entered? A lot of brands immediately say Instagram is the go-to. You guys, my brand is on Instagram. I'm just now starting to focus on Instagram after 3 years in business because my brand has not been an Instagram brand. People have been buying more from Pinterest. They have been converting more from Pinterest back to my website. They have also been converting from Facebook back to my website. And now I'm starting to get on Instagram because the traction has picked up. And that's because I asked myself, what opportunities haven't I taken to actually exploit my brand a little bit more? So when it comes to opportunities, really look around your local space. Say, oh my God, are there pop-up shops coming up? Are there events that I can attend? What can I do to get my brand out there? The opportunities, you guys, are endless. And you never want to sell yourself short when it comes to opportunities, because you never know who's going to be looking at your brand. You never know who's going to be picking up the phone to tell a friend or to tell an angel investor about your brand. So don't sell yourself short. You may think that sometimes there's certain markets that aren't for you, but if you can get into those spaces, fill that space. Let people know that you're there. Let people know that you're developing a brand. If you're online and you have not been utilizing social media to your full advantage, get online. Some people's brands do better on Twitter. Some people have created such a unique way to communicate with their customers that it's more of a talking type business to get people to convert back to their website to buy physical products. And this is something, again, don't sell yourself short, you guys. It's something that you can do. So in the opportunities space, in the opportunities category of your SWOT analysis, make sure you're checking off every single box when it comes to social media, when it comes to local sourcing, when it comes to creating opportunities in places you don't think that the opportunities are waiting on you. Fill the space. Get out there, put your brand out there, and people will start to convert. Okay. So in the threats category, which is the last part of our SWOT analysis, guys, I told you certain questions, the video is going pretty fast, but when you sit down and ask yourself all these questions, it's going to take you a couple of hours, maybe even a couple of days to figure this out. But I promise you, once you answer all these questions in detail, you'll have a better marketing plan, you'll have a better social media strategy. Your business plan will be even closer to being completely finished because you have understood what it takes to become a brand, what the steps necessary to even start your branding aspects. So under the threats category, you're probably thinking, well, obviously you're talking about competitors. I am. You're right. I'm talking about competitor marketing. Your threats are your competitors. Your threats are yourself. So ask yourself, what are my competitors doing that I'm not doing that could potentially be a threat to what it is that I'm trying to do? Meaning, if you see your competitors in your niche or in your space doing something, ask yourself, is that something that'll work for your brand, or is that something that could be potentially be a full-on threat to your brand? Because people are moving in a different direction. You guys know that social media moves fairly fast. So ask yourself about other brands' marketing tactics. Don't do what other brands do if it is not good for you. So another part of threats is understanding, guys, your customer, understanding how your customers move, understanding how your customers communicate. Your threat when it comes to your customers is your customers leaving you. That means you're not keeping up with your customers. So ask yourself what it is that your customers are flocking to. Do they like trends? Are trends something that could be implemented into your brand, or could you operate around a trend by implementing your style into that trend? Meaning you're not conforming to the trend, because that might not be something for your brand. You don't have to do trendy things if trendy things aren't for your brand, but I do suggest that you understand how trends are moving so that you could see the potential in working within a certain trend. That was a mouthful. I know. But that's something you don't want to skip out on. So understanding how your customers move and how your customers operate through different type of sales and different types of click funnels with other brands is something that's going to be super important to you, and that's going to be a threat to your business if you do not understand those simple things. Now, a threat specifically, guys, for the swimwear industry. Now, the SWOT analysis, these questions, you guys, work for any type of brand that you have. These are some things that you need to ask yourself no matter what it is, no matter what niche that you are in. These are questions that you're going to ask yourself. Now, because I am dedicated to the swimwear industry, because I have my own swimwear brand, and because pretty much all of you guys are here because you are starting a swimwear brand or you're interested in starting a swimwear brand, when it comes to the threats category, I have a very specific question that you need to ask yourself for this industry, and that is during seasonal changes, you guys. During seasonal changes, will your brand survive that downward trajectory when it comes to marketing? Now, some of the larger brands, if you are someone like me who follows the trends and follows what's happening in my industry, you'll understand what I mean when I say during seasonal changes, a lot of times smaller brands drop off, and it's because they can't keep up with what bigger brands are doing in what we like to consider down seasons. Now, in the down seasons, especially if you live somewhere like me, like in California, it's always sunny, it's always bright. It's like 87 degrees today right now. And it's the time for spring and summer swimwear to be out, right? So in the fall time, you need to know what it is that big brands are doing to hold on. Now, usually the threat is going to come at you in the form of resort wear. It's going to come to you in the form of clothing and accessories. So ask yourself, how can you keep up with the bigger brands during the down season so that your audience does not drop off? Because what you don't want to do is just be still, not really promoting, not really doing anything in what you consider, again, fall, winter seasons where you're not really selling swimwear. And ask yourself what it is that you can do to better your brand in those seasons and to create more brand awareness, if that's something you want to do, if you don't have other things to offer, or what type of things you can do that will settle the difference between you and a larger brand. If you can answer those questions, and if you can stay afloat during seasons which you don't consider to be sellable, which I personally think that's a lie. I sell all year round, and it's because I offer things all year round to fit in the seasons. So if you can answer those questions, you're already on your way to a better business plan, a better brand, and you're creating an aesthetic that is going to keep you above a lot of other entry type brands. Alright guys, so you have made it to the end of the video. I hope you guys really understood what a SWOT analysis is and how to determine your strength, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Four things that you need to ask yourself as a business owner and as a brand developer, you guys. Don't skip out on those questions. They're super important. And another thing, before you check out, if you have not purchased my fashion branding checklist, it is a starter checklist on how to develop your brand and find your target audience while you're creating a brand aesthetics and discovering your brand identity. It's available on my personal website. It's only $10. If you need it, that's where it's at. I get the question all the time, where is it at? It's on my personal website. Also, if you go to my website and you subscribe to my newsletter, you guys, I have a very advanced business plan coming out just for my swimpreneurs, and then I have a separate one coming out for anyone in any type of business. So make sure you're on my mailing list and make sure you're tuned in, because I will be announcing it soon on my Instagram. Follow me there as well. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.